everybody, here's Thiago.
Angelina.
We are here in Headmovement. Today we have a really nice class for you. We're gonna talk about circular head movement technique. So this class is the foundation class for our advanced classes. Because always when we have a head movement on the future classes, you need to know how to execute them and how to lead and follow and exits. So this we're gonna cover on this class, alright? Have fun.
So leaders, also make sure you do this class as well, not only the followers, because for the leaders it's super important to understand how the movement feels, how the movement works, before you'll be able to lead it. Okay?
And you're gonna do the same movement as well. So it's nothing just for the followers, it's for you as well. Exactly the same thing.
Okay. Let's start talking about the circular head movement. If you want, you can tie your hair a little bit up or maybe in a ponytail if you have long hair. I find it more practical and gives me a better feeling when I do it, but it's not necessary if you don't want. So for the circular head movement, let's first talk about the 4 directions. Maybe you've all heard that, or probably you've heard that head movement is not a head movement per se. So it's not really about my head doing something, it's about my chest moving. So actually the whole upper part of my body moving from here, from the rib cage upwards. So always think more about your chest and your shoulder line than about your head. Your head is just passively following. Okay, let's check the 4 directions. Let's start to the right and the left first. You see my shoulder line. What we're going to do is we're going to tilt the complete shoulder line to one side or to the other. Let's start for me the left, or you can be the right. You tilt your shoulder line. Imagine you have a point here.
I'm the point.
He's the point. And I'm tilting around this point. So what I don't want to do, I don't want to go out of my axis. You can do that at a later point or for other movements, but for now we want to keep it small to be sure to stay in our middle, to stay with our balance, and you just rotate around this point, okay? You now are tilted to one side. Make sure your nose is pointing to the front, and for now we don't want the nose pointing to the shoulder. That can be another movement. Okay, and also make sure you still have some tension on the longer side of your neck. So I'm not completely relaxed, so I don't want my head to hit on my shoulder. I want to have a little bit of tension here so that 2 or 3 fingers still have space to enter between my head and my shoulder. Okay, let's do it to the other side. Same thing, you have the point here, turn around this point, tilt, you have space here, you have a little bit of tension here, and your nose is to the front. Okay, so these are the both 2 sides. Now let's talk about the extension and about the contraction. So now our point is here, and we're turning around this point. Like if you have a stick in here, it's a little bit cruel, sorry guys. It's a bit a feeling as if I was turning around this point this time, okay? Let's talk first about the contraction. So we really want to bring our rib cage in, bring the whole chest in, shoulders down, and my head is moving a little bit forward. Observe also my knees are bent, so I have a stable stance here, and I really want to have a rounded upper back because I don't want to tilt too much to the front, so I don't want to bend at the hips. I really want to bring my chest in so I have space for my head, okay? This is the contraction, shoulders down. For the extension, we don't want to think about bringing our head back. We want to think about our chest moving up to the ceiling, shoulders down. I still have a little bit of strength here and space in my neck, okay? So if you see from the side, I don't want to bring my head back. I want to keep this line, but I open the chest and then I can extend a little bit more, but I still have space here, shoulders down. Okay, so for the extension, you can straighten your knees if you want. I also know that some teachers teach this one with bent knees. You can try which one fits better to you. For me, I always bend the knees in the contraction and straighten the knees in the extension. Let's try to combine the 4 sides, okay? For now we're going to...
say like this, and then
yeah.
like this.
So you can see Thiago from the side and me from the front. For now we're going to do really sharp all 4 sides. So we start to the left, tilt, And now, while we're on the way to the contraction, you try to draw a circle with your head around your neck. And you go to the front to the contraction, bring the chest in, bend at your knees. Go to the right side, make sure you're turning around this point here. And now circle to the back, extend your chest up, straighten your knees and go to the left. Front, right, back, left, front and up. Okay, let's go 2 sides to the other way around. Okay, we start on the right, 7, 8, go right, front, left, back. Remember about your knees to bend and straighten. Go to the front and up. Okay, so now we can try to move this, to do this circular head movement a little bit more organic using our breathing. So when we start with the movement, we breathe in, we open the chest, and we're not going to start directly on the side, but we're going to start slightly diagonal. So you go a little bit back, breathe in, and now you breathe out for the contraction, breathe in for the extension, and so on. Let's do that one together. Okay, so you have your knees a little bit bent. We start with 7, 8, breathe in and out to the front and in and out and in and stop. Okay, I have one more exercise for you until we can go on. So this one is actually a nice metaphor that I'm going to steal from Walter Fernandez, okay? Yeah. He talked about the shower. So you could also imagine you're in a shower. Actually, it's really funny because I used the shower metaphor for another movement, okay? So he's using it for the circular head movement, I'm using it for something else, but it's also nice on this one. So imagine you're in the shower and you want to shower everything but your hair. So your hair cannot get wet. So what you're going to do, you're going to start, we can start the same way, but you can imagine this time that you want to go around this shower. You want to get wet at your chest, at your shoulder, at your back, but not at your head. Okay, let's try this one. Let's do it together. 7, 8, breathe in and contraction. Go around the shower. Remember to breathe. Bend your neck, bend your knees, not your neck, and straighten when you extend, front and up.
One metaphor that we use to understand the breathing part is the clock. So imagine you have the clock, here is 12 o'clock, and here is 6 o'clock. So you're gonna start not at 3 o'clock, you're gonna start with the breathing at 1, 2 o'clock. So start diagonally, and then you go to the side, okay? It comes from within, it comes from the chest, up, and then you go for the whole circular head movement.
So make sure you feel comfortable first, you can control this movement first, and then you can start to do it bigger, okay? So then you can go a little bit out of this axis and you can really try to open the chest as much as you can to have this movement to the back, okay? So try to make it as big as possible as soon as you can control it. Control it first and then you can make it bigger.
Yeah. About your stance, try not to stay with the feet closed because here you're not going to have a stable position. You don't have to be so open, so wide that it looks strange, but you are normally in a hip width or shoulder width position, alright? So like you were dancing, you are still on the same base and then you can do the circular head movement.
Okay, so now you did the circular head movement. There are different possibilities to exit. We're going to explain you 2 of them before we go to the leading. So both are starting in the contraction. Let's do the classical one first. So for the classical one, you start with your lower spine and your knees, and you straighten knees and hips, and from your lower spine you go up.
Thoracic and then cervical.
Yeah, so you go from down to up, your head comes last. So this is important, you roll up and your head comes last. One more time, you're in the contraction and you straighten your knees, thoracic spine, cervical spine, and head comes last. Okay? For the other exit, we're going to use the snake. So again, we start in the contraction, and as we are just having a side-to-side stance and not a front-back stance, we're going to do this movement super small. You're going to bring your head up first and you transfer the weight to the toes. Bring the head first and then you go back in a snake until you're in a neutral position. So I'm transferring my weight from the toes to the middle of the foot again, okay? Let's start in contraction again. This is a head active movement. So bring your head first, transfer the weight. Now your chest, stomach, belly button, hips, and normal.
Okay. Active head means that the head and the shoulders are leading the way, hips are following. If you feel that you are following, our first rule is always before you fall, do a step. So you feel that the leaders are leading this too big, or you are feeling uncomfortable, you can do a step forward, right or left. You do a step forward so you have a bigger base, and then you can do the snake movement, right? So we have the head movement technique, we know how to execute it. Leaders, if you didn't do it, go back and do it, okay? You're gonna need this. And we have the exits. So we're gonna learn now how to lead and follow this, okay? We have many different ways to explain this. We're gonna go through these movements as well. We first gonna talk about your arm position, okay? Do like this. Are you liking our classes? Yes, I hope you said yes. Okay, this here is a neutral position of your arm. If you point your thumbs out, that's an external rotation. If you point your thumbs in, that's an internal rotation, okay? An external rotation would lead a chest opening movement, so would lead an extension. An internal rotation leads a chest in movement, so it leads the contraction, okay? You don't need, when you are leading, to do extreme movements like this and like this, but it's gonna help to understand this movement, okay? So practice this just with you. You're gonna do small movements, open your chest, and then close. So that's the biomechanics explanation, let's say like this. And now we go for a more organic one. So you're gonna breathe in, and you're gonna lead an extension. You're gonna breathe out, and you're gonna lead a contraction. Okay? Breathe in, breathe out. Now, use your palm to do this. You have your palm showing to you, okay? Because later on it's gonna be connected to the shoulder blade. Now, when you are breathing in or doing the external rotation, your palm shows a little bit up, and then when you relax, your palms show down. You see that my movement is on the same line. So when I lead the extension, I'm gonna stay on the same line and just point my palm up. So I'm not bringing my hand up or my arm, I'm just rotating up. And the same thing down. So when we are together, it's like I'm elevating just her chest or her shoulder blade and then bring it together, but on the same line. I'm not doing this here. Okay? So you stay on the same line. You need to go for the connection. It can be on the position 2, so 2 arm length distance, or it can be on the position 1 arm length distance. Let's talk about this one first. You're gonna practice first to get in this position. Remember, followers use the full contact here. So on Zouk we use always this contact. We don't have the window. Yeah, it's gonna help you a lot to understand the movement.
And also we're connected from the side as well. We're not only connected from the upper part of the arm, but also from the side.
And now we're gonna bend and ground a little bit, okay? Use your legs to do the circular head movement. What are we gonna do now? We're gonna lead first the extension and the contraction. We're gonna breathe in and breathe out. You see that I'm doing the same movement as Julia, but smaller. I could do the same thing. Remember, if you do the contraction, go a little bit to the side. But when we are dancing, normally we do, leaders, the same movement, but just in a smaller, shorter range of motion, okay? So, I'm leading her. Extension, contraction. Extension and contraction.
Make sure, especially in the contraction, you give enough space to your follower. So she needs space for her head. Should be no problem. As you are also doing your contraction, you should have enough space. If you don't have enough space, then you're probably bending too much at your elbow. So you can try to straighten the elbow a little bit to give her more space. And one last thing, also make sure that her shoulder blades, you don't want to be too high up, because if you're too high up with your hands, you will bring my shoulders up.
And leaders, give a full contact, full area of contact, okay? Don't lead like this, or like this, or like this, or like this, or like this. Give the whole contact, the whole palm is on the shoulder blade.
And follow us, last thing, you're going to make it easier if you try to bring your shoulders down all the time. Also helps you to stay connected with your body and to your leader.
Leaders as well, okay? Don't pull it up. If you pull it up, you're gonna pull her shoulder up as well. We're gonna practice now the extension and the contraction with the exits, okay? So, we did the extension. Use your legs. Don't do like this or like this. Contract your glutes, okay? You stay in one line, hips and shoulders. You're gonna bend a little bit, and then you're gonna do the extension, contraction. When you're on the contraction, you're gonna bend, and when you are doing the extension, you're gonna extend your legs, so stretch your legs. The first exit, we're gonna use our legs and our momentum to go up. So what I'm actually doing is just straightening up, and my hands now are just going to a neutral position. So I'm not doing this here, otherwise you would think that she needs to go to the extension again, okay?
And unless he needs it, we're not going to do that. So he's just extending his legs, so his knees and his hips, and we're doing the same. We're just going straight up, head last. We're not going to bring our head back.
Yeah, it needs to be short here, okay? And remember, don't use your hands to pull her up, right? The next exit is gonna be the snake. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna do the extension. Now, what I do, leaders, I like to give her space. So I do go with my leg back. So when I lead, she has space and can do her step. So what I'm doing is I'm moving my hands that are now in the contraction, showing down, forward, and opening. Okay, so I go forward and open. Go to this external rotation. Okay, again, I'm gonna go forward and open. Now I bring her to the extension, so my palms are showing up. I bring her back and neutral position. Okay, let's do it again. We are in the contraction. I'm gonna give her direction and extension. Up, back, and neutral. Now, I have my weight on my right, she has her weight on the left. We can go out with basic, lateral, whatever you want. Okay, so together it would be like this. Breathe in, contraction, forward, extension, up, back, and neutral. Okay, so practice this, practice both exits. Now we're gonna put this together with the circular head movement. So you learn how to lead the extension and the contraction. The inclination, the tilted turns, they are easy, should be easy. You need to remember, for leaders, that you need to do the same movement as her. Now, I'm tilting to my side, but we both are on the same axis. So I'm not doing this. Bring her and bring me to the side, or pushing my hips to the side, okay? Just upper body movement, right, and of course, left. We have the connection on the arm. So this here should be easy. What I'm gonna do now together is gonna be the breathing in. For me, I'm gonna breathe in and bring her slightly to my right side. So I'm gonna open her right side. Yeah, I'm on the extension as well. Extension. And now I start to tilt. Contraction, contraction, extension. Go on the contraction and up. Let's do it together. Go there. We're gonna breathe in and open her to my right side. Okay, is your left side, followers. 7, 8. Breathe in, side, contraction. Make space for her. Don't go like this. Make space for her. Go to the side. Extend your legs. You can do this once again. Remember to contract your glutes. Stay in one line. Don't do like this, leaders. Okay? Keep your hips to you. Then we go again to the contraction and up. Easy peasy. Here, you can transfer to my right, leaders, or left, followers, and get out.
Okay, I'm going to address the two main mistakes that are happening when you do the circular head movements together. So if you observe our shoulder lines from the side, the shoulders are always staying on this line, okay? They're tilting, but they're never going to rotate. So we're never going to bring one shoulder to the front or to the back. So if we would do that, this would be another movement. It's also a nice movement, but it's another movement, okay? Yeah. So we're not doing this bicycle movement, okay? Try to keep the shoulders on one line. And the second main mistake is mostly happening for the followers, but also sometimes for the leaders. Try to do the extension and the contraction from the chest, so your hips are not involved. Try to keep your hips a little bit more straight under your shoulders, so you can bring the hips a little bit more into neutral position, engage the glutes, engage the abdominals, and make sure when you're in this movement of the extension, you're opening your chest, but you're not opening.
Don't twerk.
Don't twerk, okay? So we're not bringing our hips back. Our hips stay in the line. This also makes the movement bigger, actually, okay?
Now we're gonna use the snake as exit. Go to your partner, ground it. We're gonna start with the breathing in. Go for the whole circular head movement. Stop on the front and now go forward and lead the snake just like as we did before. Okay? When you are doing here, you use the momentum that she's coming from your right to your left and then you lead. So I don't want to bring her here, stop and then lead. Yeah? I'm gonna use this time when she's coming through my right, forward, back and out. Okay? Don't stop and lead. When she's coming to the right, she passed already the tilted position. She's here on this diagonal and then you start leading the snake. That alright? We're gonna go now to the position 2. So everything that we lead before, we can lead on the open position. Where you grip, different possibilities. We can grip here using the normal position, the normal grip when you're doing lateral, for example. If I'm doing here head movement, I use all the 4 fingers. I may use my thumb, but I'm not pressing. I just laying down for the head movement, okay? You can do it like this as well. Just make sure when you are doing like this, you are not bending her wrist towards her, okay? You are in this neutral position. She's still with a kind of straight line. I don't do like this, okay? It's not pinball. You can go to the arms. Why we do this? We have here mainly 3 joints that can disturb the movement. This can disturb the lead. So if I give here a lead, I have 1, 2, 3 joints that can that the lead can get lost. So what I do when I go in here, I'm excluding this joint and now I have only 2 joints. So less risk of losing this lead somewhere. It's not necessary, but sometimes it's useful. When I'm using this grip, I go with my 3 fingers on the side. My pointing fingers I use here on the top, so it's almost showing to her shoulders, not exactly, but I use here. And the thumb is just laying down, I'm not pressing, it's just relaxed, it's just this magnet contact. So she's giving me this pressure and she's gonna understand exactly everything that I'm doing because she's looking for this connection as well. Okay?
So for the followers, I like to think about these lines. So from my small finger, wrist, elbow, shoulder. Later on we try not just to learn this one, but to really feel this one. But I can imagine for the beginning that as soon as my little finger goes up, also my elbow goes up, my shoulder rotates, and then I'm tilting, okay? So I really like to think that every move that's going to go into my hand is also going to my shoulder, also the internal rotation and the external rotation at both tiltings. And so with this metaphor, if you want, so I try to stay connected from my hands to my shoulder blade, chest and head. But obviously the leaders, I'm not trying to turn on my hands, okay? So leaders, don't turn on the hands. It's just a metaphor for the followers to make it easier to get everything that goes into our hands right now. I want this impulse to reach my chest, and with my chest I want to reach my head, okay? Everything that moves here is going to move in my head.
Remember, that's the idea of frame. It's everything connected. Okay? We have sensible followers on Zouk. So the movements that we're gonna do here in this position, they are small. Okay? I don't need to lead with strength. If I'm having to use strength to lead the movement, so stop. It's not the timing for now. Maybe she's not ready yet, you are not ready yet. If I use strength, I never use strength to lead anything here. So it's just exactly like before, I'm gonna use the breathing. And now I'm using this opening of my hands, this external rotation, really small. And then use the contraction. You see, actually you almost don't see that my hands are moving. It's just a really small movement, okay? And you see that my line, my level is the same. I'm moving slightly down, slightly up. We see all the time on socials people doing head movements like this. Not necessary. You stay here on the elbow high of your follower and then you lead this on this line. Okay, use the motion, use your legs. You have this change of line. You see that my left hand is now up, my right hand is down, and then we change again, but it's not extremely. Okay, so the same thing as before. Breathe in, open her left side, your right, and then you go into the head movement. And here you can stop, of course, and use the first exit. So going from the lumbar to the cervical, head is passive. Use your legs. What we see all the time is this. Yeah, don't use your arms, use your legs. This is gonna lead her. Okay, so when we are here, I'm doing my legs and then I prepare my arms. Okay, don't do the whip. Yeah, and for the snake, same thing. I lead the head movement. Watch out not to do this again. When she's coming to the contraction, I'm gonna step forward, lead an external rotation, bring her back and out.
Everything that we said before applies to this one as well.
Yes.
So remember about the bicycle movement. You don't want to do the bicycle movement that will throw my head all around. And if you want to do an exercise, you can also train to, we want to have really sensible followers for this movement, okay? So he uses a little movement and we will already understand the movement. So you can try to practice at home. The leader can lead slow or maybe a little bit faster, don't go too fast, stop somewhere, okay? So this is an excellent exercise for you guys and girls to practice the leading and the following, so the followers will get super sensible, and that's what we want.
Yeah. Once you practice this with a follower and everything is working right, you can go for different positions and you can go for less, just as a practice, this exercise, with less connection, really with less area touching the skin. So I'm not using the full grip, I'm just using on the side. That's just an exercise, just to make our followers and our leaders more sensible. Okay, more sensitive. Sensible? I don't know what is the right word, but you got it. Okay, remember to use your legs. Okay, we use this a lot, bending and stretching, so it helps to make the lead and the following much smoother than doing just arm stuff.
And also follows, remember not to get into the head movement mode forever and wherever. We
Yeah.
also see that happening.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
as soon as he starts head movement, I'm into my mode. Okay, head movement.
I do it.
So this is still leading and following, okay? So wait for him, wait what he's going to lead. Of course we have this momentum, of course we do have that, but we still are going to wait what he's going to lead.
All right, once you practice everything, now we can change the direction of the movement, because not always going to be this direction, okay? Not always clockwise, we can go counterclockwise as well. When is the time to change the direction? We like to do this exercise first. We're going to do with us the circular head movement, okay? We're going to prep going left 7, 8, we're going to prep, we're going to do a full circular head movement. You're going to now open to your right side. So you go for the contraction and open. When you open, you close. And then go for the circular head movement. You open to your left side and then close. Okay? So do this as leaders and followers. Open to one side, circular head movement, open to the other side. Now we're going to do this again, but we're going to open, do the contraction, and then open and change again. So you're just doing this here. We are open. See our legs. When you open, we use the legs to stretch. We use our legs. So watch our legs, guys. When we do the opening of the chest, we use our legs to do the extension. And then we go back to the plie and extension. Back and extension. Make sure not to do this. We go with use so much momentum that you can't control, and then you just open and fall to the side. Okay? So we're gonna use exactly this timing. You can practice here, you can practice here. We're gonna do the circular head movement. I'm gonna open and change the direction. So for us, we believe that this is the best time to change organically the direction. We open, and it looks nice as well because we have this flick from the hair through the extension. Okay?
So leaders, make sure to give her enough time so she can open her chest. The idea is not only to go to the side, the idea is really to open the chest. You can really slightly open your chin a little bit before you go back, okay? So if you have a ponytail, followers, you can try to move your ponytail around while you're doing this circular head movement around your head, and when you open, you bring your ponytail a little bit back and back and back. Give her the space to open the chest, okay?
So remember to open your arms as well, your hands, palm up, otherwise she's not gonna open. She's not gonna have the space to open if you have to keep here close.
And follower, it's also our goal. If he gives us the space, take it, okay? If he gives us the space, always try to open the chest if you have the space.
Okay, when we are dancing, to have more impact, that's the best way that we use to change the direction. To practice, just to practice, you can now change the direction in different points. For doing this, do this really slow. So what you can do now, just to practice the sensitivity of the circular head movement, you can stop here and then change the direction and then stop here. Just to make sure that on every position, you both are on the right form, and then you can change the direction. But when you are dancing, you normally will not do this. You're gonna get the explosion on the one, on the strong beat, and then change. It's just more organic and it feels nice, not abrupt. There's this word, I think so.
Yeah.
Change of direction. You know, we're gonna open, okay, now I prepare, and then I change the direction again.
And also remember, as Charlie already said, leaders and followers, we need our legs to make this movement more organic, more beautiful and bigger.
Yeah, I think that's everything that you have to know at first, so you can practice and have a good leading and following for the circular head movement. Remember, that's the foundation technique that we're gonna need for the next advanced movements that we're gonna use, and they're gonna use head movement. Remember, head movement is not a head movement, it's a chest movement.
Yes, so if you want to have two main takeaways, it would be for the followers, head movement is not head movement, but it's a chest movement. And also remember to use your legs. This would be the main takeaway for the followers, and for the leaders almost the same.
Yeah.
Leaders, so the followers think less about their head and the leaders think less about their arms, okay?
Yeah.
So main takeaway, it's not only led by the arms, it's led by the whole body. Use your whole body and also use your legs.
Give her space and respect her limits. Nah? Some people can do really big movements, some people can do smaller movements. You need to be sensitive for this as well as a leader.
And followers, don't get upset, it's practicing, okay?
Yeah.
This one you need to practice it a lot, you won't learn it in one day.
All right, so that's it. I hope you learned a lot and you had fun. Practice this as much as you can every day. It's gonna get better. Of course, practice this together so you understand this technique, understand this flow. Is a lot of practice so you can finally feel comfortable leading and following head movements.
If you have any questions, please write us, okay?
Remember to subscribe to the channel if you are looking this on YouTube. If you are in our online classes, have fun with the next class. See you on the next.